Hey, it's Drybear. Time is running out to get your rewards for the server slam this weekend in Diablo 4. So today we're going to talk about all the rewards you can get this weekend, how to get them, and how to defeat the world boss as well. But first, you should come hang out on my live stream. If you do, then the first day of launch in D4, you'll get a legendary within the first few hours. Okay, so there's 4 major rewards that you can get this weekend, 3 of which you could have already gotten in the previous weekends. So if understandably, if some people don't want to play the server slam, it makes sense. So the first 2 are going to be 2 specific titles. The first one is an initiate title that you get for playing the game for just a few minutes. If you download the server slam, which is free for everyone, you log in and you play for just a couple minutes, you'll be able to get this title, and it's permanent unlock for launch and moving forward as well. The next title you get is a free title for reaching level 20 in the server slam or in previous betas. So if you haven't played before and this is your first time playing, you're going to want to play the server slam and get to level 20. It's super easy. Just skip mobs along the way, do your mains quest and your blue quests, and do any world events that you walk by, and you'll hit level 20. The fastest is like a little less than an hour, but if you go really slow and take your time and watch every cutscene, it shouldn't take more than a couple hours in general. So it's pretty straightforward to get those 2. And on top of that, if you reach level 20 in the server slam, if you have before, you'll get this as well. You get a back cosmetic, which is the wolf pup. It is a little back wicker basket that you have on your back that you can transmog onto your character at any time. And you can use this as a present. And it actually has an animating wolf pup, a little puppy that just moves and little animates, and it's pretty cool. So that's the other option for those 3. And those could have been gotten before. The 4th reward is something that you can only get in the server slam, and only if you defeat Ashava, which is my kill, one of my kills on screen. You'll see it here. I did this on my Druid. And you just have to kill this world boss. Now, this one's actually harder to do than it was in previous tests because we could get to a higher level in previous tests. And differently, in previous tests, they had a much higher drop rate loot table for high rarity items, specifically legendaries, because they wanted everyone to test out the legendary effects and make builds. This server slam build has the normal drop rates that we're expected to see on launch, which means that legendaries are quite rare. We're playing over about 15 hours now. I've only gotten a couple legendaries to drop. You can still craft them, but I've only gotten a couple to drop, which is a pretty slow, and I've done basically everything. So there is that option there if you're looking for more ways to play the game. Now, Ashava is the new unlock. All you have to do to get this reward is kill Ashava at least once this weekend. And doing so will unlock you with a special cosmetic called a trophy, which attaches to your mount. We don't know yet if this attaches to all mounts. We know, of course, it's going to attach to the horse mount. It'll be on the back right hip of the horse. And it's actually one of his horns, or her horns, these little spike things here, just kind of attached to the bottom of like this ivory base. And it's like you get to walk around having a piece of the world boss on your mount, which is pretty cool. So let's talk about how to kill Ashava, because it's a pretty tough fight at level 20 with no real build. First of all, if you're looking for encounter mechanics, I have a 2-minute video going over all of Ashava's mechanics, how to dodge them, what to look out for, how to read her animations so you know what's coming as well. So I'll refer to you for that as well. But if you're only limited to level 20, the best advice I can give you is to try and max out 2 or 3 abilities. You don't need to fill your bar, and it's actually pretty easy to only max out 2 and then use your gear to give you any defensives that you need. You can find amulets and rings that give you one of all defensives for most classes. So if you need a shield or defense or healing, depends on what class you're playing, you can get that from your gear, and then you don't have to waste your valuable skill points unlocking it. The extra points that you're going to want to use are going to be on your core and your basic abilities, because that's where all your damage is going to come from. So you want to max those out as high as possible and just focus on using those. Ranged is a little more efficient than melee if you have a ranged option on your class, just because Ashava moves around a lot. He jumps and slides and all that. So you won't be able to get as easy of an uptime, especially when he hits phase 2 in the second half of the fight. Then you'll actually have a lot of time dodging when he does the back rakes and things like that. So doing melee can be quite punishing. So if you have an option for ranged, I recommend doing that as well. So max out your abilities. Don't spread it too thin. And most of the time, you'll do just fine using a builder and a spender. whatever that works for you, and then doing as much damage to Ashava that you possibly can. You also want to make whatever legendaries you have available in your Act 1. If you haven't had any drop, that's okay. You can do the dungeons that drop the codex aspects that can be used to craft legendaries. There's only going to be 2 or 3 available for each class. They may not be for the spec you want, but they're an option there that might give you a little bit more uptime and more damage throughput on the boss. And this is really just a DPS race because you have 15 minutes to kill Ashava. Another note is you can only have 12 people in the instance, and I recommend filling it out. So if you're in an instance and there's only 4 people there, I recommend either leaving game and starting game again so you get a new instance, so you can get a fuller instance, or you can go into trade chat and ask people if they are trying to do Ashava. You can get them into the fight by inviting them to party from chat and then grouping everyone together. Get 12 level 20 people, burn it down that way. The next tip is to lower your world tier. I think most people that are playing on world tier 2, which is the highest you can play. You can change this when you launch your character into a start game. You can also go into the main city and go up to the world tier statue and change your world tier. It will actually affect you'll still get one shot by most things anyways, since this is a level 25 world boss and we're level 20 and under geared, but you'll still be able to do more damage with less health on the boss. So make sure you're in world tier 1. Try to get a full group of level 20s. No one should be much less lower than 20. If there's someone that's like level 5 running in there, ask them to go level because you need DPS output to try and clear it down. So that's kind of basically it. Again, I would refer you to my 2-minute guide on all the mechanics. Most of them will one-shot you if you're not aware of them or not positioned properly for them. You can heal through a few of them, but those are few and far between. And then you just got to burn down the boss as hard as you can, do as much damage as you can, and keep track of it. So since you have 15 minutes, try to make sure that you get to at least halfway by 7.5 minutes, maybe faster. You can see right here on this kill that I have on screen, we get about halfway at 50% HP. We have 9 minutes left. So we're at a faster pace than a 15-minute kill, which is good, and we just got to keep up. For Druid, I ran a Storm build because you can run, I maxed out Wind Shear, Tornado, and Hurricane. Using gear, I got Hurricane and Tornado to level 6 because yellows can give +1 to abilities, which is super nice. And then I got my defensives from gear as well at rank 1. And then you just spam, 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 spam. Rogues are very good at this. They have some really great single target at level 20. Sorceresses and Necros are also very good. I would say Druid and Barbarian are probably the slowest DPS at level 20 right now, but it's, if you can still do it if everyone's staying in the fight, paying attention, and focusing hard on killing off the world boss. And that's all I got for you. I know a lot of people are struggling to kill Ashava. They're running out of time because they don't have the DPS or they just don't have a full party. But hopefully this helps out, give us some tips on how to clear the boss. And then you'll forever have your Mount Trophy cosmetic on your account going forward for the live release of Diablo 4. So that's all I got for you today. Good luck out there. Get those rewards.
If you enjoyed yourself today, leave a like down below. You can support me and my work on Patreon and view Patreon exclusive content, link in the description. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next one.